A very good morning and warm welcome to all. Thank you for taking time today to join us here for the conference on the move to Nutrition, Wellness and Health by Republic Polytechnic. Before we begin, please switch your mobile phones and other devices to silent mode. You will have received a copy of the evaluation form from the registration counter and will need your help to complete at the end of the conference. Good morning, Ms. Claire Chang, Senior Vice President and co-founder of Banyan Tree Corporate Private Limited and Chairperson of the Serene Foster Program. Ms. Priyanka Sachdev, founder of One with Earth and board member of the Serene Foster Program. Mr. James Lee, Director, School of Hospitality, and distinguished guests. My name is Kaylin. I'm this year's Serene Foster Scholar and also a Year 2 student at SMU Lee Kong Chian School of Business. I will be your MC for today. The Serene Foster Conference on the Move consists of a series of conferences designed to bring women from all around the world to discuss issues concerning to women in varying fields. Today, we'll look to gain some tips on how we can improve our health by breaking nutritional myths and get to hear from SMU's Center for Research on the Economics of Aging about the definition of wellness on health, financial preparedness, and well-being. May I invite Ms. Claire Chang, Chairperson of the Serene Foster Program, to say a few words.
Thank you, James, and the leaders of Republic Polytechnic to invite us to this beautiful campus. Why do we need such a huge space? So I'm actually very jealous walking in here. And I think some of us have difficulty actually looking for the spot. But we have originally had the plans to take you down to many of the levels and especially to the cooking canteen. But time not permitting and its difficulty, we're going to do it all a lot more using technology through the visuals. But thank you again for allowing us to be in these premises. The first conversation we had this morning was on health, because I've been suffering from this 1 month cough and found that I was actually eating the wrong thing for the whole month that had never taken away this cough. And then we went to a debate between TCM and Western medicine, folk tales and evidences, scientific evidences. So I think today's topic on nutrition wellness is something that concerns each of us. So I'm very happy that my board member, Priyanka, will do us the honor of presenting, facilitating today's session. I've decided that board members should work harder. So Conference of the Move is to bring friends, guests, advocates, businesses, policymakers to the field so that we are in touch with what goes on at institutions, in communities, so that we ourselves can again ask questions about everything. I think we have to ask anew the what, the why, the how of everything, and whether the way Singapore is as a city has delivered its promise of giving us the quality life. I think each of us must not take it for granted. So those who are in Western medicine, do not dismiss traditional medicine. Priyanka Sachdev is one of our board members, one of our newbies to Singapore society. And it's been a delight working with her. And she is what I call a meaningful entrepreneur, something that she is very interested by. And if you do Google this thing called Shopaholic, which is a very interesting platform to mitigate waste and to promote recycling, bonding, networking, fellowship. Shopaholic. You have something you want to shop with Claire Chang, and Claire Chang has something to give you. Let's get onto that platform and we get to be friends. And she's also a founder of One with Earth, a social enterprise that nurtures, supports, develops, and partners with solution-based initiatives. I also know that she has an IT background, and her interest in social enterprise and meaningful entrepreneurship. Now talking about health and nutrition, I hope there will be a lot more enterprises set up to look at this seriously with the aging population that we are facing in Singapore. And we are what we eat, and we do not really know how to eat well. And I thought I'd been eating well for 1 month, I was eating everything wrong for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's why it never went away. So I think it's good that we empower our own knowledge about our own body. And thank you for making this possible. Thank you. Priyanka, please.
So my name is Priyanka Sachdev Shahara. I today am representing SFP. I'm a board member for the last 2.5 years. I'm going to take a very short few minutes of your time just to tell you about today's event. And also tell you just a little bit about SFP in case you missed it in the video. So for those of you who do not know, Republic Polytechnic is the leader in wellness education with 3 schools offering wellness solutions to both the consumers as well as the industry. Each of these schools, the School of Hospitality, the School of Health and Leisure, and the School of Applied Science, plays a different but complementary role in the development of the wellness industry. Today's conference will cover topics on wellness and health from a personal as well as community perspective. We will learn much, much more about the wellness education at the Republic Polytechnic and the work that they do to contribute to the well-being of the community through the cross-school collaborations. We will also get a perspective from SMU's CREA, Center for Research on the Economics on Aging, about the definition of wellness on health, financial preparedness, and well-being. I'm going to quickly tell you about our speakers, not very much because you can read it in our program guide and you will hear from them, but we just like to welcome Ms. Suzanne Ng, Dr. Ritu Bhala, Mr. T. Chi Hu, Ms. Charlene Lau, Ms. Ji Jiaming, and now quickly about the Shirin Fauzdar program. As you know, the Shirin Fauzdar program provides a platform to educate, train, and provide capacity building opportunities to the women community. Shirin Fauzdar was a pioneer of women's rights in Singapore, as you saw in the video earlier. Chaired by Ms. Claire Chiang, who we also know as the co-founder of Vice President of Banyan Tree Holdings, the program runs a series of conferences, annual lectures, as well as networking sessions to bring students, advocates, policymakers, businesses, institutions, and the public together to shape a resilient community and nurture integrated perspectives in women's development. Its underlying ethos, RICE, coined by Ms. Chiang, stands for resilience, inclusiveness, connectivity, and engagement, and it continues to be a fundamental guiding principle of our program. We have 7 key initiatives that we do every year. I'm not going to go into the details of them. You can find out on our website, but I'll just cover what these initiatives are. 1, we have our Conference on the Move. You are at the 2nd one of this year. We've already had 1, and we have 1 more coming up. We have the SF annual lecture. We have the scholarship. Kaylin, who is the MC for today, is actually one of our scholars. We have our impact grant. We have the community project grant, which is actually amazing because in the last academic year, more than 150 SMU students took part in 7 community projects and reached out to more than 830 beneficiaries across the region. We also have an SF Diversity and Inclusion Award. This year we supported TEDx at Pickering Street. And of course we have our WOW library, Women of the World, which is a resource archive where a wide range of publications and articles on women and related development can easily be accessed. Check it out on our website. We could not do this alone. We have certain strategic alliances that we've been very fortunate to be able to support. Some of the ones from last year, which are ongoing as well, are International Women's, Federation of Commerce and Industry, Wellness Kampong, an initiative by Alexandra Health Systems, the Jane Goodall Institute, and the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. Over the last 6 years, the SFP program's flagship conferences have reached out to over 1,500 people and featured speakers and participants from over 45 different countries. To date, we have given close to 1 million Sing dollars to over 50 projects and 40 social service organizations in Singapore and the ASEAN. With that, I conclude. I'm just going to very quickly invite you to our next 2 events on September 9th, which is our 3rd conference on the move at Yu Hua Estate. The topic is Smart Nation in the Making, and 29th November, which promises to be a lot of fun because it's our SFP networking evening. And without further ado, I'd like to invite Kaylin to introduce our speakers for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Priyanka. Now, please allow me to introduce to you our guest speaker, Ms. Suzanne Ng, Program Chair, Diploma in Wellness and Hospitality Business, School of Hospitality, to give a brief introduction. Ms. Suzanne Ng, please.
Well, first of all, I must say I want to wish everyone a warm welcome, especially to Ms. Chang, Ms. Ju Jiaming, Ms. Priyanka Sanchdev, and of course, Mr. James Lee, our Director of School. More than a year ago, Ms. Claire Chang and our team have met. And as we were discussing about opportunities and wellness, and we thought she was sharing with us about this Shireen for Des program. And we thought, wow, what a great idea. This would be really wonderful for us to also showcase what we are doing up here in Woodlands. Especially everybody thinks of us as the kampong of the north. What's happening here in terms of our initiatives, especially in the wellness and health arena. So today, I've also invited some of our other schools, which is our colleagues from School of Applied Science, School of Health and Leisure, and Hospitality, to share some of our unique projects, our facilities, our collaborations, so that if you have projects in future, you may also think of us as well and see how we can also be part of your program. All right, without much ado, I would like to say, sit back, enjoy, and hopefully you will have to learn something from this event. Thank you very much.
May I now invite Ms. Charlene Lau, Senior Manager, Wellness Research Center, School of Sports, Health and Leisure, to share about RP and Wellness Connexis.
Good morning, Ms. Claire Chang, Senior Vice President and Co-founder of Banyan Tree Corporate Private Limited, and Chairman of the Shireen Forza Program. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Charlene. I will be sharing with you the research activities of Wellness Connected Center of Republic Polytechnic. Healthcare sector plays an important role in Singapore's social infrastructures throughout nation building. With the increasing aging population and shrinking of the birth rate and working age population, healthcare expenses is expected to increase. Although there is a longer life expectancy, but more could also suffer from diseases. Moreover, the healthcare manpower constraint poses an additional challenge to the whole ecosystem. As a result of this, it's crucial to take a preventive approach towards healthcare. Preventive health focuses on health of individuals, communities, and defined populations. Its goal is to protect, promote, and maintain health and well-being, and to prevent disease, disability, and premature death. Prevention is better than cure, because healthy population would reduce downstream healthcare costs. Wellness Connected Center of Republic Polytechnic (RP) focuses on preventive health, where we look into the wellness of preschoolers to the aging population. There are four key focus areas. First, active aging. In addition to the health and wellness of the elderly, we also look at ways to encourage and help the elderly to extend their working lives. This allowed them to stay engaged and productive for a longer period. Second, wireless technology. We are developing algorithms for health monitoring, such as stress level, non-invasive blood glucose measurements, and muscle oxygenation measurement. This algorithm will be integrated to wearable devices, making them accessible to the public. The next focus area is physical activity and health literacy in youth. Youth is a pillar for nation's economic development. Health literacy plays an important role in preventing health, as everyone should be empowered and be responsible of his or her health. Last but not least, motor development of preschooler. We look at motor assessment as well as interventions for both healthy children and children with physical and intellectual disabilities. I'll be sharing more on the projects related to the areas mentioned. Falls is not uncommon in the elderly. It may lead to mortality and morbidity in the elderly. We conducted the studies in collaboration with SingHealth and NTUC Senior Activity Center Silver Ace early this year. It aimed to examine the association of physical and psychosocial factors with the number of fall incidents in the elderly. 38 elderly with a mean age of 75 years old participated in the studies. The elderly self-reported their number of falls, and we went through few physical assessments, for example, muscle mass, bone mass, fall risk assessment, as well as psychosocial assessment. And the results show that these three factors were significantly associated with the number of falls reported by the elderly. First, number of near fall. The greater the number of near fall the elderly experience will result in higher number of falls actually experienced by the elderly. Second, problem in falling asleep. It also increases the chance of fall. Last, health screening. The elderly who have not been attending health screening for the past 1 year, actually, they experience more falls as compared to those who did. RB secured Ministry of Health Ageless Workplace Innovation Grant early this year, with the title, Making Housekeeping a Viable Option for Older Workers. It's a multidisciplinary project which requires expertise from various schools of Republic Poly, namely School of Sports, Health and Leisure, School of Hospitality, School of Engineering, and School of Infocom. As we are aware of, housekeeping is a physically demanding job, and most of them may not view this as a viable option for them. This project aims to improve the productivity and employment or retention of housekeeping staff aged 65 years old and above through the use of job redesign and motorized housekeeping cars. As we are aware, it's very heavy due to the linens. So we hope to make it easier for the older workers to maneuver on the carpeted corridors. Let us watch a video clip about an issue which is closely associated to most of us.
In this morning's Health Watch, Women and Stress. A new study finds that high levels of stress at work can increase the risk of a heart attack for healthy women by an astonishing 88%. Our Dr. Jennifer Ashton has the latest on what to look out for. Jen, good morning.
Good morning,
That's a
Maggie.
huge number.
Right. This study was presented out of this week's session for the American Heart Association, the biggest cardiology meeting in the world. And they looked at almost 20,000 healthy women, average age 57. Most of them were healthcare professionals, so anyone from a nurse's aide to a PhD, and followed them for 10 years. And what they found is that those who had a higher degree of job strain actually were at 40% increased risk for overall cardiovascular disease, and as you said, Maggie, an 88% increased risk for heart attack.
How did they define job strain?
Well, job strain for this study really included people who felt that they were in jobs where they had little or no decision making, they were very demanding jobs, and in particular, they didn't allow them to use their individual creativity.
So not necessarily.
Okay. As shared by Dr. Jennifer, stress increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. Stress is not uncommon, and we always perceive small of stress is acceptable and good. However, the perception of stress varies among individuals, because some of us could have adapted to stress and we are able to cope with the stress. Hence, the more objective way of measuring stress is through the physiological changes of the body in response to stress. Okay, the traditional way of measuring stress is through the saliva testing, where we measure the cortisol level, the stress hormone. However, the main setback of this saliva testing is it's not easily accessible to the public. Okay, therefore, RP innovated a wireless stress monitoring system, which measure and provide feedback to the user on how their heart responds to stress. This system measures pulse rate is in a wearable device form, which is in indirect measures of the heart rate. I'm going to show you a video clip.
Excessive stress increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Traditionally, the salivary cortisol has been extensively used to measure stress level. However, this laboratory testing is not easily accessible to the public. As a result of this, there is a surge of needs to explore a more convenient and less costly method to measure stress, such as using photofluorescence (PPG) technology. Republic Polytechnic's wireless stress monitoring system consists of a wrist-worn, wearable device based on the PPG technology. The wearable device picks up pulse signals from the user. The pulse signals are then transmitted to a mobile application for analysis. Using the algorithm developed by Republic Polytechnic, the stress level is then presented using color zones for easy interpretation. Users may continuously monitor their stress levels. The system offers a complete solution to monitor stress levels of users with a simple wearable device and easy monitoring. Contact us today for more information. Brought to you by Republic Polytechnic, your innovative partner.
Diabetes is one of the issues discussed by Prime Minister Lee in his recent national rally. The rising trend of diabetes is alarming due to its complications such as stroke, heart attack, and amputations. There are a number of adults with diabetes remain undiagnosed. Finger prick blood glucose measurement is the current practice. However, most of us are resistant towards it because of the painful sensations. Hence, it would be very useful to develop a non-invasive and yet less costly method to complement the existing method. We extended the usage of the PPG technology to non-invasively predict and monitor the blood glucose level. We are currently working with Office of Technology Development to license the algorithm to industrial partners. This algorithm will be integrated in a wearable device, allowing the population to continuously monitor their blood glucose level. The next health problem is low back pain. Low back pain is a global health problem. Most of us experience low back pain sometime in life. Although low back pain can be self-limiting, but it may progress to chronic diseases if not managed well. According to Ministry of Health, there were about 3,500 patients admitted to both public and private hospitals. The number excluded outpatients who sought consultation for physiotherapy, general practitioners, chiropractic, etc., or TCM. The outpatient consultation would surpass the inpatient consultations. Maintaining a good sitting posture is always emphasized to patients, right? Low back pain patients. However, it's unclear about the sustainability of the good posture because we still see a lot of us adopt the slump sitting. Slump sitting would compromise the blood flow and thus the muscle oxygenations and may result in muscle fatigue. It's quite common to hear doctors or physiotherapists advise patients, try to avoid sitting for a long time. So what is long time? What's the duration? 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 45 minutes? So our study aimed to develop a system to non-invasively measure the muscle oxygenations. And through this, we hope to examine the optimal durations for individual based on the fluctuation of the muscle oxygenations of the individual. So this is a system. Next, I'm going to touch on osteoarthritis. The most common form of osteoarthritis, which is osteoarthritis, and it affects about 40% of the adult populations. Women are more commonly affected than men. Pain affecting walking is a common complaint by patients with osteoarthritis. As a result of this, assessment of the gait is a major part of the physiotherapy assessment. As for now, there's no current system to quantify the joint angle in the three-dimensional space during walking. Okay, so my colleague have evaluated the use of inertial sensor in identified knee osteoarthritis. This system allows physiotherapists to view the changes of the angle of the leg live during ambulation, during walking. If the angle of the knee joint is outside the acceptable range, then the white zone would turn into the green zone. So it will allow immediate interpretation of the findings, facilitating the physiotherapy assessment. This project is in collaboration with Changi General Hospital. As mentioned earlier, youth is the pillar of the nations. So a study on the physical activity level of Republic Poly students as well as Singapore Polytechnic students was conducted using the Global Physical Activity Questionnaire. And the findings show that male students are generally more active as compared to female, about 2.5 times. Moreover, first-year students are more active as compared to second-year and third-year students. Not sure why, possibly they are more focused on their academic work. And the sedentary behavior appears to have inverse relationship with the physical activity levels. Additionally, our center also aims to investigate the health literacy in youth. Health literacy is an independent predictor of body weight and other health conditions. Therefore, improving health literacy has been identified as a public health goal. Poor health literacy is a significant barrier faced in public health effort to effectively convey information that's accessible and meaningful to individuals. Last but not least, I'd like to share on a project which is involved preschooler. The importance of preschool education in giving children a good start in life is being emphasized. Motor development is one of the important developmental milestones for preschooler. RP has recently secured a research grant to develop an exer gaming platform. We call it iPlay, interactive physical learning activities for the young. This aims to assist educators to monitor the gross motor milestone and to provide prompt interventions to improve the motor skill of children aged between 2 to 7 years old. The current manual assessment technique is very time-consuming and manpower-intensive. With the increasing trend of developmental delays cases in Singapore, there's an emerging need to have a technological tool which can complement the current manual motor assessment. iPlay hopes to track the motor milestones and attain better intervention outcome through multisensory stimulations. Research and development is challenging and involves a lot of hard work. I view it as a climbing mountain. Hence, we need a multidisciplinary team. We work collaboratively with various schools of Republic Polytechnic, School of Management and Communications, School of Technology for the Arts, School of Applied Science, School of Engineering, School of Hospitality, and School of Infocom. Additionally, we also work with industry partners. For example, but not limited to SingHealth, public hospital, for example, KK Changi Hospital, private hospitals, Health Promotion Board, NTUC Silver Ace, and local SMEs to make our project meaningful, because ultimately we hope the deliverable or outcome of project can be useful to the public. Okay, as I mentioned, I view doing research like a climbing mountain. We will continue with our innovations. We will find more mountains to climb. And with this, I end my presentations. Thank you.
May I now invite Dr. Ritu Bala, Senior Manager, School of Applied Science and Formulation and Nutrition Science Technology Center, to share with us some of the research and projects conducted at the center.
A very good morning to everybody here. And before I start, I would like to apologize for my sore throat and cough I'm having. I'm not sure if it is something that I've not been eating right, but shouldn't be that way, otherwise I shouldn't be the one talking over here as well. Well, I guess I'll blame it to the weather. So to start with, my presentation will talk about how healthy eating can be achieved through food innovation. So healthy eating is something everybody is talking about, and there are a lot of views. Everybody may have a different view. I wouldn't say they're all wrong or right, but it's just a matter of which one we need to pick for ourselves. So when we talk about healthy eating, the focus is always on the food, right? Food is always the center point of everything. Okay, food. Why do we need food? We need the food for the energy and the nutrient that it provides us. The energy is required for it to carry out the cellular respiration so that our cells can breathe and perform the different functions of the body. Nutrients are the raw materials required for the growth, maintenance, and repair of the cells. In simple terms, food is one that keeps us healthy and living at the same time. Let me touch a bit more on the different type of food. If I talk about different nutrients and food, those that help in the bodybuilding food will be the ones that are rich in proteins. Foods that are protective food are the ones that you find rich in vitamins and minerals. While the ones that are energy-giving food are your carbohydrate and fats. These are also a very important part of your diet. Usually people don't like the word carbohydrate and fats for some reason. But remember, these are the ones that actually provide energy to you. But just a bit of scientific, I don't want to make this a scientific talk, but just the next slide is one where I touch a bit on the science part of it. Carbohydrates, if you ask me, by definition, are those that will give you energy or contain sugar. These are basically of three types. Among this, your monosaccharides and disaccharides, also called as simple sugars, contain either one or two molecules of sugar. These are very simple, as the name suggests, because they are made up of just a single or two molecules, and they are easy to release the energy, and that's why they will give you instant energy when you consume them. Whereas the polysaccharides will have many molecules of sugar linked together. Once this food is taken, it needs to be broken down into smaller sugar molecules, and then it releases energy to your body. These are usually found as starch and fiber. So to sum it up, all your carbohydrates will finally break down into sugar and release energy that your body needs. But the question is, what happens when you have energy? Your body functions. But what happens when you have extra energy? We become energetic. We have more energy. Unfortunately, we don't become Superman and women if we have more energy. All the extra energy gets stored, or all the sugar gets stored as fats. And that's where it is important that the sugar that we intake is utilized properly. Now the question is, number one, how much sugar you take, whether it's able to be utilized by the body. Number two, is your body good enough to utilize this sugar? Conditions worsen if your body cannot utilize the sugar properly. So let me explain you a bit on how sugar is utilized in our body. In a healthy individual, we eat food, breaks down to sugar, or glucose is a form that body recognizes. And this glucose, in presence of insulin, is actually transported inside the cell. Once it enters the cell, it releases energy. And our cells are happy, they work and carry out the function. However, in an individual who is termed as a diabetic because he's not able to process or utilize his sugar properly. Why? Because a diabetic either does not have insulin being produced, or even if the insulin is being produced, it is not effective. That means it's not able to carry out its functions properly. As a result, the food releases your glucose, and this glucose is not being able to reach to the cells properly. So if it doesn't go to the cell, it stays in the blood. And as a result, you have a blood glucose level increased. And this condition is called as diabetes. Diabetes can further lead to complications, which is your blindness, kidney failure, heart attack, stroke, and even amputation of limbs. We need to avoid this condition. And by now, I'm sure you all have blamed everything or have this in mind that sugar is the devil, right? Is the one that causes all the problem. So can we eliminate this sugar? Okay? Can we eliminate this sugar from our diet? I need your help to answer this question for me. Can I request you all to close your eyes? Picture 2 foods that you think are a source of sugar. Okay, I guess most of you are ready with your stupid, because I don't want you to think too much. Okay, can I have a show of hands of how many of you had a picture similar to those items seen in this picture here? Okay, quite a few still. Okay, but I would like, you are absolutely right. If I ask you for the sources of sugar, these are majorly the foods that contain, or objects similar to this are the ones that actually contain sugar. But how about foods like this? The 3 images that you see over here are practically the food that we eat on our regular basis. At least 1 or 2 of your meals will definitely contain 1 or 3 items from here, if not more. Can you eliminate all of them from your diet? Can you take off even half of them from your diet? The question is, these foods do not just bring sugar. They bring along a lot of nutrients that our body needs. It is just impractical to tell me that I will not have pasta from today just because it has a lot of sugar. Because it will always be added with something that comes along with the nutrients part of it. You can't just stop having your milk or dairy products. They do contain sugar, but they also contain important things like your calcium. So it's not just about picking and choosing what you eat. It's about choosing correctly, making the right choice. We all need to still follow the healthy diet, which basically means that we need to have food from all the representatives. To make things easier, Health Promotion Board recommends following the My Healthy Plate in order to pick and choose the food that we eat, the quantities of food that we eat. I keep repeating the word pick and choose, but the question is, where is the choice? If I ask you to choose, I must be able to give you some options as well. If I go down to have a snack now, are the healthy options available? I'm not talking about the options where they give you a soup mix and tell you to eat that, or a meal replacement. Believe me, you cannot survive on those. You cannot survive on snack bars. These are not your meal. We need to make our regular food more healthy. And this can only be done by food innovation. Only innovative ways of making our existing food healthy is what works. We need innovation in our food products. We need innovation to make them healthier, and also ensure that the ways that we innovate are such that they add the health benefits, they keep the prices of the product affordable, the food items are available easily to everybody. I don't have to travel kilometers just to find a particular food that is healthy. It should be very easily available. And believe it or not, I worked on many food products, and taste always wins the battle. So we have to ensure that the taste is always there as well as a health. We call something as a health taste matrix. I was thinking of what food should I put over here, so I took the most basic, which is the rice. If I take white rice, it does quite well in taste. In terms of health, well, it's there, but nowadays you have already read a lot about white rice, and particular white rice, not all white rice, okay? Not all white rice, but relatively, it might not be that great in terms of health. But if I compare it with the brown rice will definitely be better in health when compared to the white rice. But in terms of taste, of course, it doesn't fare so well as well. Through food innovation, what we are trying to do is we're trying to bridge this gap, make food that is healthy and tasty at the same time. Innovating into food has been there for many, many years. It's just that the perspective has changed. There was an era when we were getting food from different countries coming together, and there was fusion food. There were many. But now the innovation trend is towards healthier food. It's more and more to the demands of the customers or the consumers, as you would say, and to the needs of our consumers. Our consumers are very aware and literate now. So what we have entered into is the era of functional foods. Functional foods are not any rocket science, but these are simple foods that not only provide a basic nutrition, they also have added health benefits. And if you look at the picture over there, they are your daily foods that you eat. It's just that they have an angle of health benefit added to them. It could be something that they usually don't come along with. If you pick up your apple juice nowadays, you will see it has iron and many other things that it usually doesn't have. So these are additions that have been made into it in order to provide the extra health benefit. I would touch on a few of them, especially to go back and touch with my aspect where we touch about having a control over the energy that you take from the food, and at the same time be able to provide you with the nutrients that the food must provide. So these are low GI foods, sugar, which is low, rich in antioxidants, whole grains, and also in probiotics. But at the same time, they maintain your micronutrients and also your antioxidant activities. If you have been keeping an eye on the sugars and food that give you a low sugar, you would be a little familiar with the term glycemic index. But for the benefit of all, maybe I'll just introduce, very simple, what glycemic index is. It is simply a ranking of the food that tells you that once you consume that food, how much sugar is released into the blood because of this particular food. So if I can innovate products, I can make products of food that are low in GI, I am actually preventing the increase or the sudden rise of glucose in the blood once this food is being taken. But the challenge is not easy because the glycemic index keeps changing for one particular food. For example, your fruits. Your fruit, as it ripens, the glycemic index will increase. If you cook your pasta, you cook it a little longer, your glycemic index increases as well. So it is the processing, the cooking, everything will change. That's why we need to come up with methods that can control these changes. We can have a hand over these factors and innovate in certain ways that the product contains the kind of glycemic index I'm looking for. At Republic Polytechnic, we partnered with PAR International to develop low GI buns. These buns contain the flour that has been processed in a particular way that the glycemic index of the total product is always low. This helps you give a snack, at the same time does not give you a spike in the blood glucose levels. This is also rich in fiber and thus making it an ideal tea time snack. It's quite surprising that many of the people I talk to are not aware that most of the sugar that enters your body is through the beverages we are taking throughout the day. Our common tea, coffee, everything we take in are usually quite high in sugar. So by reducing the amount of sugar that is added, we can actually bring down the levels of sugar and at the same time enjoy the nutrients of the particular drink. At Republic Polytechnic, with partnering with UNSENG, we have developed a herbal tea. It is sweet, but the sweetness comes from the natural sweeteners. We have added lohango and dates. In order to make the tea sweet, we added some herbs to ensure the goodness. And this is a mix where we have TCM and our modern science working together as well, in order to provide you the health benefits. Addition of whole grains is another way to keep the energy levels spread out throughout the day. It also provides you rich fiber, protein, vitamins, and minerals that you would need. Our long-term partner, Polar Puffs and Cakes, we had a discussion with them, and we talk about the Swiss rolls that they have on their shelves. We talk about how to make them healthier. We wanted to put whole grains into it. The first reaction was, I've heard of whole grain bread, but not cake. Are you sure you can do something like this? So we had several rounds of trials and tasting and sensory evaluation where we get panelists to come and taste. And we come up with something where the texture was not compromised. It is still a cake. It still has the sponginess of the cake. But the sugar has been lowered. The cream has been kept in check. And you can still enjoy it as a Swiss roll. So this is possible because of the innovative ways how we process our ingredients. And then we add it to our final product. Another example is our probiotics. Probiotics, definitely people understand that they are good for our digestive system. But what is also important, if you have a better digestive system, they break down the sugars properly. By breaking them down properly, you are controlling the way their sugar is released. And to make sure that these beneficial bacteria or probiotics are healthy, we need food for this bacteria as well, which is termed as prebiotics. These are simple fiber that you find in several food items. So what we have done is we have developed an ice cream. Yes, it is an ice cream and a healthy ice cream that has prebiotics and probiotics put together. And what else do you want? This ice cream is low in sugar and low in fat at the same time. So you can have this ice cream and not be guilty about having something which was very creamy. It still has a soft texture, I can assure you. Another part of the diet is the important antioxidants. It helps you to fight against the damaging effects of the free radicals that our body produces. Even things like our outer looks are affected if you have all these free radicals in a higher number. So something we work with our partner in Kinomitsu, we develop some mocktails using their product. The entire drink is an all-natural product and it is rich in antioxidants, adding a health benefit to that as well. We also worked on omega-3 rich foods. We have a range of foods, out of which the most successful ones are the omega-3 snack bars and also instant porridge. This was done on a request when the company wanted to work very closely to develop an instant porridge, which is a full meal that an elderly can take. It has whole grains, and it is not the traditional porridge. It is a healthier version of the way the porridge has been made. So all this was done under our technology center that is called as a Food Formulation and Nutrition Science Technology Center. The technology center focuses on formulation, which is definitely catered towards food. It also caters to new and sustainable drug delivery systems for pharmaceutical formulations, And when I talk about formulations, an important part is the ingredients. So we also discuss about therapeutic compounds. We go into their identification, characterization, and also isolating them from the source. We support our partners for the entire product development, starting from the recipe formulation to improving their current recipes, especially if they want to get some healthier choice symbols on their products. Also carrying out sensory evaluation, offering recipes for commercialization, and we also provide consultancy on the AVS guidelines for the food labels that will go on for your product. We promise our partners that we are a one-stop solution because we work very closely with different schools. We tap on different expertise, such as applied science, culinary science, sports, engineering, supply chain management, and innovation, because we recognize that a project could start from the food, but the issues could be related to different angles. That's why we work together with experts from different schools in order to provide a holistic solution. So if you have an idea in mind that you would like to develop and see it work in your food products, you can always contact me. I'll be there outside, and my email is here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ritu. May I now invite Mr. T. Chi Hu, Lecturer, Diploma in Wellness and Hospitality Business, School of Hospitality, to debunk some of the nutritional myths.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So my session is more casual. My session is more on sharing on some of the myths that you may heard before, and probably I don't want to overlap what Dr. Ritu has touched on. So my part is more towards like your daily life. Okay, so it's more concerning to what you eat, what are the things you heard, but it's actually not true. So first one, just now we have heard about what is carbo. So carbohydrate will be something that you eat every day, okay, inclusive of your rice, your bread, your noodles, your bihun, your kway teow. These are the things. Okay, so a lot of people heard of this thing. I want to lose weight. I want to do weight management. I cut down or even eliminate carbo out of my diet. I can lose weight very fast and healthily. What do you think? True. It's only true for the first half. You can lose weight very fast. Okay, when you remove carbohydrate out from your diet, your body has nothing to burn as energy, but you still have to live on. So every day your energy is being burned from your storage, and your storage will mainly come from the fats. And subsequently it will be broken down. Okay, subsequently it will be broken down from your muscle. So you are going to slim down quite fast. It's a very fast way to lose weight. But the problem is our body is very smart. It tends to protect itself. When your storage comes to a certain level, it will trigger something we call it a self-defense mechanism. Your body will start to protect itself. So you start to stop at one level, which you cannot lose your weight anymore. And subsequently, whatever you eat, your body will start to convert it back to fat. Okay, one gram of carbohydrate, it gives you 4 calories. 1 gram of fat, it gives you 9 calories. So just imagine I give you $4 and give you $9 to ask you to choose one. Which one will you choose? $4 or $9? Your body will do the same thing. Whatever you put in, right, I keep $9, I keep 9 calories, is easier and faster. And the most important thing is, next time, if you stuff me again, I have something to use. So once you go into this problem, okay, when you eliminate carbo out from your body start to use fats to burn for a certain period of time and it hit on the wall, your body will start to defend itself. Next time, whatever you eat, it will start to get back into fat storage. That's a problem we have seen. A lot of people have succeeded in their weight management, but eventually they get rebound. Why? Because their body wants to protect themselves and all the fats will start to reaccumulate again. So please don't do this unless you really want to have a very important event to go to and you need to fit into that dress, then you use this method. Otherwise, please, okay, you still have to take some portion of carbo. The idea is you can cut down, but don't eliminate. Okay, don't eliminate. You can cut down. It's for sure, you need to cut down, but you don't eliminate everything, every single thing out of that. Okay, so it's half true. You can lose weight quite fast, okay, but it's not really healthy. Second thing, I think a lot of people heard of this as well. I want to lose weight. Don't eat anything after 7. There's one catch here. It depends on what time you sleep. If you tell me you are going to sleep at 10 o'clock, for sure, after 7, you don't eat anything. But how many of you sleep at 10? No, right? Okay, the earliest usually among the audience are earliest 12. Okay, 12 midnight. If you sleep at 12 midnight, you eat your dinner at somewhere around 6 p.m. From 6 to 12, how many hours in there? It's 6 hours. 6 hours is a full cycle of digestion. By the time you are going to sleep, you are going to feel hungry. And I think everyone have this experience. When you are hungry, you cannot sleep. And it is so noisy that the person beside you also cannot sleep. Yeah, here. Okay, so you are going to find something to eat and it's worse. Okay, so it depends on what time you sleep. The idea is you can have something to eat 1 hour before, not 1 hour, more than 1 hour before you sleep. Meaning that the 1 hour before you sleep, you shouldn't eat anything. Okay, but prior to that 1 hour, you can eat something so that it makes you doesn't feel hungry. The idea of a supper is not to make you full. The idea of a supper is to make you don't feel hungry. Okay, so your supper shouldn't be something that we call nasi lemak. I came from Malaysia. Nasi lemak is our breakfast. But when I came to Singapore, study in NUS, then suddenly I realized that in Singapore there's this thing called fong sing. Okay, fong sing nasi lemak, punggol nasi lemak, and they only operate at night. That's a problem. Nasi lemak suddenly become a supper. So just remember, your supper should be something like 1 piece of wholemeal bread, 2 pieces of wholemeal crackers, this kind of thing. Okay, something that makes you don't feel hungry, but not to make you full. Okay, so this one depends on what time you sleep. Next one, oil. Olive oil has been held for the best oil for everything. Is it true? It's very good. It's not the best for everything. Okay, because olive oil is very high or rich in monounsaturated fats, and monounsaturated fat is very sensitive to heat. So, olive oil is not suitable for high heat cooking. So what is high heat cooking? It's not suitable for you to fry your French fry, your fried chicken, things you fry at home. Okay, so whatever it goes through very high heat of cooking, you shouldn't use olive oil. And there are a few types of olive oil in the markets, I think everyone knows. Okay, we have the virgin one, we have extra virgin, ultra virgin. What is the virgin means? Never been touched before. Okay, what's the virgin means? Okay, how much of processing is being done? Okay, the most expensive one is the least processed. And this one is the most sensitive to heat. So the most expensive olive oil shouldn't go into any cooking at all. Most of the time, we'll recommend that the very expensive olive oil should only go into dressing. Yeah, after you cook your thing, or even you don't cook anything, you just put on the salad, you just dress on it. Yeah, this is what it is being used for. There's one type of olive oil that can be used for cooking. And when you go to the supermarket and we look at the labeling, you look for light olive oil, L-I-G-H-T, or extra light. This kind of olive oil, it has been go through a few rounds of processing. It can be used for normal stir frying. Okay, it can be used for normal stir frying. So this is very good for your cardiovascular health, but try to go for something that is suitable for your own cooking style. So usually I would recommend you should have 3 types of oil in your kitchen. Okay, the first type of oil is olive oil. Okay, the extra virgin or ultra virgin one, it is used for dressing. It doesn't go into any kind of cooking. Second type of oil, it should be something that you use for normal cooking. Normal cooking or normal stir-frying cooking or stew, okay, you can use this oil from most of the oil you can find. Okay, your soybean oil, okay, your corn oil, your canola oil, your rice bran oil. These are the oil you can use for general cooking. Sometimes, especially when you have kids at home, you don't want them to eat outside for the fried food from outside. You want to fry at home. What's the best oil for frying? What's the best oil for frying? Okay, find the cheapest oil. That oil is called palm oil. Okay, use palm oil for frying because palm oil is saturated fat. And saturated fat is stable under high heat. So if you want to fry your food, okay, go for palm oil. So how to find palm oil? Usually I say like this is the cheapest oil or the darkest in color. Yeah, darkest in color. Okay, so you have 3 oils at your kitchen. Okay, one for cold dressing, not for cooking one for normal cooking, and the other one for deep frying. Okay, keep 3 types of oil in your kitchen. It is more helpful and I would say it's more healthy. Next one. This one is suitable for guys, and sometimes nowadays a lot of girls are trying to build up some muscle mass as well. So to take protein will help you to gain muscle mass. Is it true? Yes, with a condition. You have to take it after your exercise. If you just take protein without exercise, it doesn't work at all. We know that muscle is built from protein, but taking protein doesn't mean that it will build your muscle. Okay, if you want to build your muscle, you have to break it down first. Okay, how to gain your muscle mass? You have to break down your muscle fiber before it goes and sorts out the protein from your diet to build a new set of muscle. For example, if this thing is 1 kg, if you have been lifting 1 kg, your muscle has been getting used to this weight. It doesn't grow anymore. Oops. Okay, it doesn't grow anymore and it will stay as it is. Okay, but if I increase this thing to 2 kg, if I lift it up, some part of my muscle fiber will be broken because I cannot take this weight. So the broken muscle fiber will send a message to your body, hey, I need to get something else to build another set of muscle. And the new set of muscle that is being built is stronger and bigger. So this is when you take your protein. So if you take your protein before your exercise, that protein will change into urea, pass out from your urine become more yellowish. That's it. It doesn't build anything. Okay, so only after you exercise, you break down your muscle, you need that protein to build. That protein drink will help you to build muscle. Okay, so this is very important. Another advice, which is, I think, if you have any kids that at home are youngsters who want to build up their body, is very important. If they are in a kind of exercise that will build up their muscle, okay, they will go for this kind of protein shake and things like that. It is only usable when the person is exercising. Meaning that if you have a regime of 1 week, how many days, right? You only take protein powder on the single day that you are exercising. And once you stop exercising, you have to stop the protein powder. Okay, it is very important. I have a case a few years ago, 2 years ago, 19-year-old boy. Build up muscle, build up muscle, build up muscle. Take all the protein powder. Have a very nice body. But once he got injured, okay, he got an injury. So he stopped the exercise part, but he still continued taking the protein powder, eventually get a kidney failure. Yeah, that's a very sad case. But lost only 1 kidney, luckily. Okay, lost 1 kidney. Okay, so that's very important message. Okay, if you are doing this kind of body build up, especially for kids that they don't know about this thing, right, have to watch them. Okay, if they are not exercising on that single day, don't take protein powder. It's going to be a burden to the kidney. Everything turns into urea, pass out. Okay, so that's very important. Next one, egg. Eggs is very high in cholesterol. So you shouldn't eat so much of eggs because it's bad for your heart. Okay, egg is very high in cholesterol. It's true inside the lab. Meaning that when we do testing on the egg itself, right, the egg yolk contains a lot of cholesterol. It is true inside the lab. But is this cholesterol going to change into the cholesterol inside your body? Yes or no? The answer is no. Okay, it doesn't change that easily. Okay, cholesterol doesn't change that easily, or I eat that cholesterol, then it turns into cholesterol inside my blood vessel. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so when you take cholesterol in your body, yes, it will become some part of the raw material to build cholesterol in your body. Okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this whole thing will turn into cholesterol in your blood vessel. Because the cholesterol in our blood, 70% of it is built by our liver. Only 30% of the cholesterol in your blood is actually come from your diet. Okay, so what you need to be taken care of is not so much on this egg yolk thing, okay, but the saturated fat you are taking. Saturated fat is easier to convert into cholesterol in our blood compared to the real cholesterol thing. So for this egg yolk, American Heart Association has taken this down from their prohibited list many years ago. So egg yolk can still be taken, okay, but not any other animal organs, because animal organs contains a lot of saturated fat. Okay, that's a problem. Okay, but for egg yolk, the saturated fat contained in egg yolk is actually not very high. And also, egg yolk contains something that is very useful, okay, that helps our body to reduce the stickiness of the blood. Okay, it's called lecithin. It's a type of emulsifier. Okay, so it actually reduces the risk of cholesterol sticking onto your blood vessel. Okay, so for these cholesterol things inside the egg yolk, right, the advice now is you still can take your egg yolk 1 per day if, okay, if you do not currently have problem with your heart. Okay, if you do not have current problem with very high cholesterol, and if you don't have very much of the family history problem. Okay, so if you are okay, you are fine, you don't have any problem with your cardiovascular disease and things like that, you still can enjoy your Akun soft-boiled egg. Okay, 2 per day is acceptable. How to calculate? Today you eat 2, tomorrow you don't eat lah. Okay, so it's still 1 per day, right? Average out. Okay, don't live your life too seriously. Okay, a lot of people ask me as a nutritionist, you must be eating very healthily. So I always tell the person, you never eat with me before. Okay, the key word is balance. Okay, the key word is balance. Okay, being too restrictive, how can you enjoy your life? Okay, eating is part of the enjoyment. Number 6. Drinking milk increases the risk of osteoporosis. This thing has been circulating since I studied nutrition. Yeah, last time was on email. Nowadays it's on Facebook. Yeah, I always tell you, milk contains a lot of problem. When you look at those Western people, they drink milk like what we drink plain water, so they have very high osteoporosis risk and things like that. Okay, that's statistic. Okay, it's true that the Westerners have more osteoporosis thing. Okay, why is that so? Because they get diagnosed, ma? That's the thing, what? Okay, Westerners get a lot of osteoporosis cases because they get diagnosed. You think most of us, we don't get osteoporosis problem? No, we do have osteoporosis problem, but it's that we don't get diagnosed. So the numbers doesn't go into statistic. Okay, so it's not really a matter of the milk, but it is true that from the viewpoint of nutrition, if you take too much of milk, it can cause problem. Okay, if you take too much of milk, it can cause problem. Why is that so? Because when you take milk, it has calcium, which is supposed to be good for your bone and to prevent osteoporosis. But when you are taking milk, you are taking together in with another nutrient which is called phosphorus. Okay, you are taking a high number of phosphorus as well. And the problem with Western diet, they are taking a lot of animal-based food, which includes a lot of meat. And meat contains high portion of phosphorus as well. When you have too high number of phosphorus in your body, it actually retracts your calcium out from your storage, from your bones. So it makes your bones become brittle. So that's one of the reasons why Westerners tend to have higher problem of osteoporosis. The second thing is, when we eat our food, calcium has to be absorbed through our small intestine. And there's another nutrient fighting for that space as well. And that another nutrient comes from our salt. It's called sodium. Okay, sodium and calcium actually fighting for the same spot for absorption. So if your food is very high in sodium count, which is very salty, you will reduce the number of calcium that is being absorbed in your diet. And saltiness is one typical thing in Western diet as well. You see all their soup very salty. Okay, all the sausages, all the treated meat, all very salty. Yes, that's their diet. Okay, so one of the reasons why Westerners tend to have higher cases of osteoporosis is because of higher intake of animal-based food and also higher intake of sodium. So they tend to have this problem. But nowadays, we can see that a lot of osteoporosis cases is increasing in Asian countries. One of the things is more people are getting diagnosed that go into the statistic. The other reason is because we adopt Western diet. We eat a lot of Western diet. But when you're looking at those Japanese people, when they are eating their traditional Japanese diet, right, they don't really get much of a problem. So the issue is not so much on how much milk you are taking, the milk that you are taking. So according to HPB, we still recommend you to take milk to take your calcium, because that's still the best source of calcium from food. So how much you should drink every day? How much? 2 glasses lah. Okay, it's around 400 ml. Okay, 400 ml is the limit, but when you look at those Westerners, they drink like for 1 liter per day. Yeah, it's very common. It's very common for people who are coming from the West. It's part of their diet. Okay, so just limit to 400, 450 ml per day. You'll be fine. You get your sufficient calcium. You don't get excessive phosphorus. Okay, that's to protect you against this osteoporosis. Another one. Beer belly is caused by beer. No, this one is definitely no. Okay, so beer belly, why is it called beer belly? Okay, one of the explanation is it looks like beer barrel. Okay, the beer barrel is round at the center. So when you look at beer belly, also round at the center. So it's called a beer belly. Does drinking beer give you high calorie? Does drinking beer make you fat? Yes or no? Yes. No. Okay, the answer is no. Okay, drinking alcohol, drinking beer doesn't make you fat. What is the reason? Okay, alcohol does give you calorie. Okay, 1 gram of carbohydrate give you 4 calorie, protein give you 4, fats give you 9, alcohol give you 7 calorie, which is very high. But alcohol is a toxin to our human body. So we don't keep alcohol. Whatever alcohol that being drank into our body, your liver will neutralize it, okay, so that it reduces the toxic effect. And also the alcohol, which contains the energy source, it will become the immediate energy that is being burned for your body. Meaning that when you are drinking any alcohol, be it beer or wine or things like that, when you are drinking that alcohol, your body will use that alcohol for burning at that moment. Your body is using up that alcohol for burning. So the problem is, you are not burning anything else. The anything else that is inside your body is going to be kept. So if you are drinking alcohol without eating anything, you will be fine. Guarantee you won't get fat one. But how many of you will drink alcohol only? You must be very sad. Just broke up. Oh, just drink alcohol. Otherwise, when you're drinking alcohol, you surely go with something, right? Some snacks, some cheeses, or some other things, delicacies to come together. All the food that you take together with your alcohol makes you fat. Because your body is not burning them. Your body is burning that alcohol for energy. Whatever you are eating together is going to be kept as fat. Okay, so that's the issue. So drinking beer itself is not something that will make you fat. It's the food that you go along with the beer. And the best thing is beer plus peanut. And peanut is super high in fat. Okay, next one. Last one. Fresh vegetable is better than the frozen one. True or false? The answer is false. A lot of people would think that, okay, I should go and buy fresh vegetables, okay, so that this one is the freshest one, is going to be the best. I can tell you, in Singapore, we don't have any agriculture industry. Whatever you buy, it's not fresh anymore. Okay, unless you actually plant in your backyard, then you can harvest it. That's the freshest. Otherwise, whatever you can buy here, at least they are 1 day old. Okay, at least they are 1 day old. Okay, but for frozen one, in the processing of all these frozen vegetables, okay, after their harvest, they are being frozen immediately, within 6 hours. Okay, usually within 6 hours, they are being frozen. So most of the nutrients are being locked. Most of the enzyme that cause the deterioration of nutrients are also being locked. So most of the good things and goodness of the nutrients are still inside. But the problem is not many vegetables can go through freezing process. Okay, only those you can find here. Okay, they can be frozen. Our normal green leafy vegetables, once you freeze them, what happens? Once you defrost them, everything becomes noa. Yeah, I can only cook for soup, you cannot use for salad. Okay, that's the technology problem. Probably next time Dr. Ritu can think of some way. Yeah, freeze the leafy vegetables. But nowadays what we can get is this. But according to the nutrients profile, the frozen one is actually better than the fresh one. Okay, so that's some we can share for you. Okay, that's all for my part today. Thank you for your time.